Hello everyone, today I'm going to be going over my actual thoughts on the new Intercept mode in Call of Dragons that my server has been obviously testing before it might go live, and I thought I'd show you the difference between what you guys are playing and what is the new potential infantry change coming to Call of Dragons. Hello everyone, yes, smash a like, comment and subscribe for more daily videos with me, MrSneakyy, the one and only, and we're going over on Call of Dragons today, the intercept mechanic, right? Because as you guys know, in the footage in the background, we're just looking at some 2406 mini action, but it's a really good example of what everyone is under, currently. And what we're talking about is how infantry interact with other units and just infantry alone, right? So as you guys know, when we just roll back the footage a little bit, you'll notice when an infantry unit goes into another infantry unit, you do hit that intercept, right? So again, just to show you guys, Soza could be trying to run at those backline units there, but because of the infantry in front, no matter what, it will cause an intercept trigger. So you do need to fight, obviously, through these infantry units, which makes it really strong in the game, right? And this is obviously causing problems in such areas like these choke points where you could have basically a massive war going on, and as long as you've got a good enough infantry line and you are holding a defensive position, you are creating effectively a really strong defensive advantage in your area, right? So what we're going to do is actually showcase some new gameplay, right? Obviously, you might have been seeing this through our fights in the BDO camp versus NASA, but this is going to be specifically looking at how infantry is obviously used currently in our server. So this is basically footage from last night's runic fight, and you're going to be able to see me just using my infantry here, and honestly some really good infantry gameplay if you want to learn a little bit in the background. However, what you're going to be noticing here is my infantry unit, as you can see, is able to just fully walk through units, right? There's no intercept. I don't have to worry about getting stuck on anyone, which means if you are running stuff like Goresh Skogel and you do have like the Spirit Bone Talk, for example, you are able to always go into the middle of murder balls and obviously pull the aggro always and obviously get maximum value as an infantry player, right? But this does obviously beg the question, because now what you notice when you are playing this is basically you are able to obviously run through choke points, right? And my thoughts on this, as you can see, I actually really do honestly enjoy this style of gameplay of when you're able, if you're in the back line of units, able to just run through and get to wherever you want, because technically there's no front line there for you to be contested against, right? So this type of stuff is insane, and you can see there's an infantry player just here, which is, I think it's Volt at the moment, and I just run straight through him to stop this right flank, right? And this is what's really good about infantry now, because this type of play style is a different type of infantry play style, right? You're able to punish players out of position, and you can see, you can always be able to do it applying that nasty infantry debuff movement speed slow, right? So you can really do some damage, and obviously as an infantry player support your backline in almost catching units. So I really do enjoy playing this style, and I think this style is a really clever way of infantry to be implemented in the game. However, obviously, I do have some issues with it, right? Because the thing is, what I do believe that should happen, and maybe they might implement this as a change if they are watching the video, is if there's an infantry player and still an infantry player, and say one of the infantries targets that infantry unit, no matter what, it will always be intercepted still, because by doing that, it becomes almost like a skill, issue for the infantry players, right? The infantry guy who's playing that unit type is in charge of basically stopping the enemy from charging into them or ignoring them and charging into their backline, right? It becomes an actual decision in the hands of the infantry player, right? And I do think that would be a really good step forward in it, because at the moment, as you can see, it's kind of crazy, and you can just see me suicide bombing a few troops in. But this is just to showcase how our intercept is working, right? You can see here Gino pushing straight in from the BDO camp, being able to get some insane value from that, talk, from just being in the mix of things. And when you zoom out, you are going to be able to see, more of the just infantry troops moving in and out, and you're going to see that in more examples as I kind of keep discussing about this, talking point. So this is my, obviously, like, view on it so far. It's fun to play, right? It's a fun mechanic to play. It makes infantry, honestly, really, really interesting as well, because it becomes more of a threat too, because you're obviously being able to threat the back line, right? That is low, and help support your, back line, basically, by dealing damage, which I think is a really interesting dynamic to the infantry, right? And it gives that infantry, to be honest, its identity it really didn't have, right? But the problem is, as you can imagine, as I've said before, right, it doesn't allow, if you think about it, any defensive position, right? You're not allowed, if you're an infantry player, to basically target other infantry players and force them onto you, and then, instead of them just walking through all the time, right? It'd be really good if you are able, if there's an infantry and an infantry unit, they have to get through each other first still. But if there's no one there and you're in this backline like they are now, you should be able to get free reign, right? You should be able to just kind of go where you want, because those units aren't designed to be frontline units. And I think that would be, again, the direction I would love to see, because you can see just how mental this looks, and you can imagine how fun it is for a Gresh Skullgill player, right? Just being able to always run into the backline and find angles, if you want, right, to get the maximum value. It's just a really interesting dynamic, right? So I would love to hear, to be honest, your thoughts on it, right? We've got the old system that we've showcased just earlier, where you guys know no matter what, it's always going to be an intercept. You kind of have to fight your way through, the wave by wave until you get to where you need to be. Or do you prefer this style, which is like, you can just kind of run through and do what you like? Or do you prefer the way I'm saying it, right? Where you have this style, but it becomes a skill issue where the player is all down to the player, right? If they're going to target the infantry player as an infantry player to stop them charging, right? And force the intercept, or are they going to allow it through? Would you prefer that style of gameplay and just that maybe like added layer of depth, right, to Call of Dragons? Because it is a very, in-depth game with ranged, mechanics, with the artifacts and just combos, as well as talent pages. There's quite a lot to it. So this would just add that extra layer to the unit, and like I say, it might give infantry an actual real identity to run in the game. So that's everything. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Put your comments down below on which intercepts, again, you would like to prefer, or would you prefer in the game still, and why. And then on top of all of that, if you've enjoyed it and you got all the way to the end of the video, smash a like, comment, and subscribe, guys. We're here doing daily videos like always on Call of Dragons. And until the next video, stay safe, guys, stay sneaky, and peace out.